Hey guys, this is the Art About Me Collage, our first project. We are going to explore your own personal interests and your personality to make a piece of art that reflects you. To make this project, we'll be using colored pencils, markers, pencil, pen, glue, and either scissors or X-Acto knife. You're required to include at least 2 hand-drawn black and white objects and 2 hand-drawn color objects. At least 4 objects that were found on the internet, printed and preferably colored, and at least 2 photographs of people, preferably photos that you've taken, but they can also just be people from the internet. You can also use text, logos, or quotes. It's a good idea to intentionally choose objects for hand drawing that you feel like you can handle. Don't choose to draw a portrait when you can just as easily print one out. Sketch lightly in pencil first, and make sure you're looking off of a reference on the internet. Once you feel pretty good about it, you can outline it in either pen or marker, and then color it in with either colored pencil, marker, or both, so it looks nice and finished. Try to create interesting effects by layering different colors over top of each other, like I did in this pizza slice, layering orange, yellow, and red to make it look saucy and cheesy at the same time. You can also press harder with the colored pencil to create a sort of shadow effect, like I did on the crust and on the pencil. Don't forget to do some black and white drawings too. I started these in pencil and then went over them in pen, but you can do Sharpie marker also. Then, carefully cut them out with scissors or your X-Acto knife and collect them in a pile. Next, print some images, making sure you have some variation in size. Work over top in colored pencil or marker to give it some color. Cut out your colored shapes. Make sure if you're using the X-Acto knife, never to cut toward your hand. Always put your hand on the opposite side of the direction that you're cutting. If you don't feel comfortable, please stick with scissors. Quick pause for a guitar solo. When adding color to people's faces, you can use bits of mahogany, orange, light pink, peach, brown, or many other colors just to give a little bit of warmth to the face and make them feel more human. After cutting out all of our images, we're ready to start figuring out our composition. Make sure you have all the requirements listed on the must-do, can-do sheet. Then, you can start experimenting with different arrangements and see what feels right to you. Try to avoid placing things straight up and down or straight side to side. Instead, use angles for a more dynamic composition and a more interesting feel. Remember that you're required to have several items overlap one another. So experiment with different overlaps to see what works without blocking too much of an image. This step, creating the composition, is really the most important part, so don't feel like you have to rush. It might feel like a puzzle with no real solution, but that's kind of what art is. So take your time, feel it out, and don't glue anything down until you feel like everything's in its right place. Then, carefully flip each piece, adding glue to the back and pressing them down where you'd like them to stay. Finally, it's time to fill in some of those gaps with some colored pencil embellishments. When you feel satisfied, your final step is to grab some newspaper, an old paintbrush, and Mod Podge, and we're going to seal this thing once and for all. Apply carefully and evenly in a thin layer. It goes on white, but it's going to dry clear. Let it dry a few minutes before picking it up. Then, admire your work. Great job! Questions? Let me know or ask me in the comments. Thanks, and have fun collaging. Have a great day.